Hi, I'm Patricia and welcome to my creative space. Today we're going to work on some flower stamping pendants, I guess you could call them. Um, this one's done with ink. This one's done by just impressing the stamp into the clay and then coloring it with mica powder. The other one is colored with alcohol markers. So let's get started. Today I'm using Primo Pearl Clay. And I'm also using Tim Holtz Distress Ink Black Soot, not the oxide, just the regular Distress Ink Black Soot. It works really well with alcohol inks and alcohol markers. I'm also using Jessama Tutorials cutters today because I like how big these are and I want a lot of room for the flower print. I'm also going to be using my Sweet Petunia Misty Mini. I will have it linked in the description box below for you. I'm just cutting up my clay here. I'm going to run it through the pasta machine and work it out. Here I've got a bigger clump, so I'm going to squish it down a bit. You want to kind of flatten it out before you put it into your pasta machine. So there, I'm just stacking some more on there. About 3 pieces there, and then I'm just continuing to condition it in my pasta machine till I get it where I need it. So I'm going to lay down some paper here. Got my clay, set it on the paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my shape for the first one. Just gently pushing it through there. Not too much pressure. I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to bring over my Misty stamp. Sweet Petunia. I love the name of that. And this is the mini. And I just put the stack of paper in there to give it a little bit more height. When I did my first one, I didn't put anything in there to give it more height, and I had to press pretty hard on it to get it to take the image. I'm just trying to size it up here. Then you might want to put something sticky on the other side because it came up with it. So maybe some saran wrap or something maybe will stick down there. I don't know. They do make little sticky mats that you can cut and put in there. That might work. I didn't think of using that. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's back where I want it. And that looks good. So I'm going to ink up my stamp here with the Distress Ink Black Soot. Again, that's the name of it. And I will have the ink also linked in the description box below. Now I'm just going to lightly tap it here. See what I get. Yeah, not enough. So I need to put some more ink on there, I think. And then I'm going to push pretty good this time, because it did move a little bit, just a smidge. You can see I'm pressing pretty good, but not hard enough to leave an imprint, indentation, just the ink. So I'm going to stop there, because it did smudge a little bit on top, but it still looks okay. So I'll just get my little micro towel here, some water, clean up my stamp. now I've got my tile here, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to set it directly on the tile so that I don't get any bending. The first ones I left on the paper and I got bending. So yeah, I don't want to do that again. So I'm putting it directly on the tile this time. Making sure I got it flattened out, no air bubbles in there. Careful with the ink, it's still wet. I did a little dab there to see if it was still wet, and it's still wet. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful of your ink. So move that off to the side. I'm going to do the second one here. Got my clay where I need it. So using that cutter and just putting nice even pressure on it, giving it a little twist best I can. Set that to the side, gently poke it through, and that one is ready to go. Again, I'm going to put that in my MISTI. I'll get the stamp, figure out which way it goes, and stick it on there. Now pick it up with the lid of the MISTI, or the door, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to apply a lot of pressure here, as you can tell. I put a lot of weight into it. So I want to get a real good impression, and it is going to heat the whole thing. So carefully peel it off of there. Pat it back down gently. Trying to get it to where you can see it. In my viewer, it was really whiting out bad. So here I've got Perfect Pearls Copper, I believe this is. And I'm just taking a small paintbrush from Tiny Pandora Crafting Boutique. I will have that also listed in the description box below. I'm going to do the little stem here and some green with a thinner brush in that set. And I sped this up so it's not so boring for you. Colors, yellow, and I believe that was my Perfect Pearls Sunshine Gold, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's Sunshine. So you see I'm not going all the way down to the bottom. That's because I want to add some red in there. But yeah, I just go along with it. Just following the lines in there. Getting that yellow in there. So far it looks good. Okay, then I'm going to get the Pearl X, and I'm going to add in Russet Red, I believe is what this is. I really like the blend of the yellow and the red together. It looks really nice. This nice sunset color. I don't know about you, but I love the sunflowers that have the deep red in them. I really like the ones that are almost They're so red, they're almost black. I love those. And that looks good. Now I've got some, this is, I don't remember the name brand of this. I threw the box away. I know they're chameleon colors, but I don't remember. I think I got them off Amazon. I will try to locate them and have them also in the description box below. You can already find the Perfect Pearls and the ink, I believe. Trying to think. But it should all be in my Amazon shop. My storefront. That's where it should all be. And I'll have that listed. Besides, I'll list them separately. I'll list them also in the in my storefront, and have a link to that where you can find it easily that way too. Whichever way you want to go about doing it. But yeah, I just got a little brush because of all the details around the petals. That's why I'm using such a little brush. And it just kind of flowed on there a lot better with the thin brush. You may be wondering why I've gone with blue on the back of here. I do believe this is one that changes blue to green. And I wanted it to look like a sunflower just stretched high up in the sky, just like kissing the sky. Nice and beautiful and tall. This is kind of what it reminds me of. You get that little tint of green when you move it around, so yeah, I like it. I think it looks really nice. And you can use any colors you want. And this one too, I'm also going to put down right against the tile. It's just like I did the other one. I'll make sure I don't have any air bubbles or anything like that. And I'm going to pop these in the oven at 275 for a half hour. Alrighty, and here's this one out of the oven, and this one. You can see how nice and sparkly it is. I love that shine on there. This one we're going to color with the alcohol markers. I'm using art markers from Shuttle Art, I do believe. I will have those in the description box below as well. And here I've got olive green, I believe, or deep olive. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. Let's see. Get my colors swatch out and go through them. Figure out what other color I want on there. I think I went with dark green. So I've done brown for the center. No, I didn't do brown on this one. No, this one was, well, it was either brown or it was red wine. I don't remember which one exactly. I might have used red wine on the leaf because I did this one with the two-tone also. I'm just going in, filling it with my yellow. And I think I actually use yellow pumpkin, or pumpkin yellow, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, I think that's the red wine. So the center would have to been the brown. And this is the color blender, and I'm just going to use it and lift off some of that color and try to blend it into the yellow. Get a close up here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of dabbing it on there, because if you swipe, you're really going to lift too much, most likely. So to clean it off, I just go over it on a piece of paper to get it cleaned off. Here I'm adding blue. I forgot I was zoomed in. Sorry about that. I think it's sky blue, and I'm taking a thicker end of the marker here and dabbing some of that off and blending it more into the background, going with the finer detail part of the marker and get around all the little nooks and crannies. And I will do the same thing with the blender to pick the color back up off of there so I can get it just how I want it. So again, going over the big areas with the chisel end, cleaning that off, going in with the tip, and just blending those edges around. Sorry, I keep going out of focus, or out of view here. I keep saying I gotta work on that, and I do. It is so hard to stay in the center, I find. For me, it is very hard. Okay, and now that those are all done, we're going to do the backs. Just taking and cutting out that clay. Grab my mighty blade here from Tiny Pandora's Crafting Boutique. I will have it linked in the description box below. If there's anything you want to know about the video itself, it's going to be in the description box below. All the products should be listed in the description box below, unless I have ended up forgetting to put them in there, in which case please message me on the video and just ask me for that information, and I will be sure to give it to you, and I'll put it in the video, because sometimes I do have a tendency to forget. Here on the backs of it, I am using poly paste to adhere my raw clay to my baked clay. And I got a little brush here, it's pretty small, and I'm just going over that to get the back of it a little bit sticky. What I like about the paste is it's really thick and it's not slick. By any means, it's not slick. I like the paste. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, it's Kato Poly Clay Poly Paste is what it's called. And I prefer to use it. So, and a little goes a long way. Anyways, I'm just taking a filter here for a fish tank and just dabbing it on there to make my texture. And this time, instead of doing the Jessama smear, I'm just going to pull the clay over the edge. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, some of you may not. Here I've gone ahead and jumped over to the next one, and I'm just going to hold the back of it so that I don't mess it up with the sponge as I take the clay and pull it over the edge and smooth it out that way. That way it's kind of a bevel look on that side, and I really like that look too. It comes out really nice, I think, anyway. But yeah, it's a real easy alternative if you can't catch on to the Jessama smear, if you're having trouble with it. I do have a video where I do show a tip about doing the Jessama smear. I don't remember which video it is. I will look it up. But you can do the Jessama smear, or you can just pull it over the edge like I'm doing here. Whatever is most comfortable for you, or whatever, you know, you like the best, go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to take my little sponge here and kind of dab it where the edges are also textured. Trying to hold it lightly so I don't mess it up. Okay, and here they are ready to go back into the oven. I'm going to set them on a Scott's blue towel so that nothing happens to my fronts being flipped like this on the tile. And I'll pop these back in the oven, 275 for a half hour. And now that they're out of the oven, I'm going to go ahead, or actually while those were baking, finishing up, I'm going to do this one for you because it shows it going off the edge. And I'm using a little silicone brush here for my resin. I also recommend that you use proper precautions when using any kind of resin. I'm using Lisa Pavelka's Magic Gloss today. It's supposed to not be harmful, but you know, just in case, you should use gloves in a mask, well ventilated area and so forth. But what I'm doing is I'm dropping it in the middle of the imprint here. Okay, and I'm just gonna pull that to the edge, especially where it goes over the edge of the clay. I want that to be all filled in. So I'm just filling it in here. Believe it or not, I have sped this up. It's a little slow, but I'm just dragging that resin into the shape of the flower and all the petals, and then back out to the middle to fill everything in. So I do this one like 3 times, but I wanted to take the hardest one and show you how to do it. I thought that would be best. Some of you probably already know how to fill it, but if you're a beginner, you may not know it. And I find this works best, and it's better to go slow with something than to rush it and try to get it done all at once. I mean, it is time consuming, yes, but the end product is much better, I think, if you just take your time and fill in your hollow spots first. So I'm just popping any bubbles with my torch lighter. And I'll pop that under the UV light for 25 minutes. Now back out of the light. Now I'm going to do just the edge. That way I don't have it pulling away from the edges. So I'm doing just the edge here. And see, now I got that nice smooth surface to do the edge, which is nice. So I don't have to worry about it hills and valleys in it or it spilling over because I'd put too much resin on it. Popping the air bubbles. Looked like a little bubble there that I couldn't get, but I realized it was not a bubble after a little bit. It took me a while. So back under the UV light, 25 minutes. Okay, here we are back out of the light and going in for the rest of the topping here. So I'm going to do this inside of the edge that I made. And then I'm going to pull it to the outside. Just going around the whole pendant, making sure that I get every inch of it covered. So yeah, I made one like this last year? No, a couple years ago, I think, for my cousin, and she said she gets compliments on it all the time. So, I mean, I did it a little bit different, I think, but it was pretty much it was the same but different. You know, they always are one of a kind. Uh, I don't like to do the same thing twice, so I like making each item different in its own way. So yeah, she gets lots of compliments on it, she said. So that makes me feel good, and I'm sure that makes her feel good. Going over it with the torch, popping all the bubbles, making sure I got them all. And I will put that in the light again for another 25 minutes. Okay, here we are. I've got them all done. I'm gonna start on adding the holes, and I'm just gonna try to line it up here. Just making sure I'm where I want to be. It would help if I have it turned the right way. There we go. And go through the front, and then I go through it again, through the back, and then again through the front. Making sure I've got it all cleaned out. Go through the back again. And I've only got this on a setting 3, so it's not really going that fast. Okay, what I found was all my jump rings are too big to go through my holes, so I am creating my own with 20 gauge wire. I do believe it's from Beadsmith, anti-tarnish beading wire. So I'm not actually twisting it, making a twist in it, I'm just wrapping this one piece around my piece sticking up here. Now I'll take my round nose pliers and make my loop in there. And I'll put on my bail. Now I'll close it off. Wrap my tail around it until I meet up with the other wire, and then I'll clip that excess off. And then I like to take my crimper tool here and make sure that there's no part of the wire sticking out, because I don't want someone to get scratched on it or something, or snag your clothes. That would be just not right. So that's what I like to do. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and make one of the necklaces here. I was gonna use my glue-on cord ends, but I decided not to mess with that today. So I'm using the fold over bend. I cannot think of the name, but they fold over. You gotta fold each side over, and it's flat. Yeah, can't come up with the name to save my life. I know they're probably another type of crimp end, I think, if I remember correctly. like to use the hook pliers here, and then I like to grab my crimping tool and just bring the other side down using the circle on that tool. It just makes it so much easier to grab that side and fold it over. So here I got the little jump ring, 4mm with the claw clasp. I'll put that on there. Close that back up. Now I'll take my 6mm jump ring, open it up and put it on there. And there we go. She's all done. Such a beauty. Great for fall. Absolutely gorgeous. And here they are, all done. I think they all came out beautiful, and they're all unique in their own way. Even though it was the same technique, they're still all different, I think. Get a closer look there. The bail shows them that look like flowers themselves. I believe that's another leaf one. Yes, that's another leaf one. Then that one I just did a pinch bail on it. If this tutorial was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I also have a Facebook group, Trisha's Lovely Creations, and I hope to see you there. Don't forget to ring that bell. Thanks. Have a great day.